Hey guys, welcome back. This is episode 11. Let your no be no.
Yep. Gotta say no. Let your no be no. Don't play around with it. I mean, there's so many good ways that no can be used and be applied to your marriage. I mean, it's not always a bad thing. It's a sure thing, and not to add too much to it or elaborate. Sometimes it's good to say, like we're beginning. I'll begin today on scripture. Matthew 5:37. Let your yes be yes and let your no be no. For whatever is more than these is from the evil. We're going to start right off the top of that. There's nothing wrong with saying no. Jesus frequently said no. That's what people often forget. And Jesus always said no when it came into anything that intercepted him or his Father's mission. So anything that came in between him and his Father's purpose or mission, he's going to say no to it. And the same thing can be applicable to your marriage. So whatever comes in between you and her, or her and you, whichever way you want to put this, whoever's watching for the audience, it is best to say no. There's nothing wrong with no.
Absolutely. And sometimes you need to say no to things outside your relationship that will affect the inside of your relationship. And it doesn't have to be, I know the first thing that pops in everyone's head is infidelity. It's not always that either. Sometimes you have to say no to people asking you to do things, to people asking you for favors, to people asking you for money. Sometimes you can be putting a hurt in your relationship by saying yes to people when you should have said no, because what they're asking of you takes you outside of the means of what you're capable of. Or maybe it'll put you in a mood because you're saying yes because you think it's the right thing and you're trying to be nice, but really in all actuality, you're hurting yourselves and you're putting yourselves in a situation that you should have never been in. Sometimes it's okay to say no. It's okay to want to help people, but don't harm yourselves to help others, if that makes sense.
Yep, that's Proverbs 22:26-27. You're supposed to say no to anything financially irresponsible or any moves or offers in your marriage. It's funny, she had that as a point, and that's what's popped up in me and popped up in one of the scriptures I looked up. You're supposed to be saying no to anything, to any threat. And you can't say especially financial ones, but it's best you did. Because at the end of the scripture, it says that even your bed can be taken from under you. It's crazy that it says that. And what's the first thing you think about when you think of bed? You're thinking about married couples. So I like saying, would you want your bed snatched up under from you and your wife? Nah, I don't think so.
Or even financially. Even financially, because that could also mean that you're losing your home, you're losing the bed that you sleep in because you chose to be irresponsible. Because you didn't say no. There's lots of reasons. There's a whole lot of meaning to that, just one little bit. I haven't said anything on even what I said earlier wasn't even on here. All right, sometimes you have to say no. If you had to say no, let it stay a no. Don't waver unless you know that you're doing wrong by saying no. Otherwise, stand by your no. Basically, you're saying if you felt that you needed to say no to begin with, and you felt it in your heart, and you knew that it should be a no, don't let anybody convince you otherwise. Don't let anybody change your mind. Don't falter or waver because somebody else says, oh, well, you owe me this, you should help me. And half the time those people aren't even being honest and truthful. They're just wanting something from you. Or maybe they don't agree with you, and it's okay because not everybody has to agree on everything. If you felt in your heart that you should say no to something, don't waver from it. Don't let anybody else convince you otherwise.
It's crazy you said that because that actually goes along with that. To people pleasing or just to catering to anybody else's, thoughts, perspectives, or being of you. So Jesus was basically being tried by the Pharisees and Sadducees, and he was basically asked to perform miracles to show signs, and Jesus told them no. That's right up in Matthew 12, verse 38, and also 16, verses 1-4. He said no to basically showing signs, miracles, and people pleasing, basically catering to whatever the people thought that was his self-image. When he already knew and had a purpose, he had his self-image made. He had an identity, he had worth, and he knew his purpose was in God. And the same thing is applicable, once again, to your marriage. It's so many ways. You do not have to impress nobody. You do not have to do anything outside the needs or the wants of your own mate, your spouse, or the desires. You don't have to do it for anybody else. If they're not owed, they're not owed. And that's the way it goes.
My next point about saying no is that no does not have to be rude.
Yeah.
You can say no with love. You can still be kind. Just don't let anyone else make you doubt yourself or feel bad because you said no. You said no for a good reason. And you don't owe anybody an explanation. And you don't owe anybody a yes. At all, for any reason. What I was going to say is don't be afraid to say no. No is simply a boundary that you are setting. And boundaries are set to protect you and your loved ones.
That part.
If someone can't respect your boundaries, if they can't take no for an answer, walk away. They're no good for you.
Exactly.
They didn't love you. They had no good thing to begin with. Not to say you guys can't agree. I mean, you guys can't disagree. That's fine, in your relationship. But you have that outside person coming in saying, oh, well, this is what you need to do. And you need to say yes, because I'm requesting it of you. And why are you even considering your spouse? You're your own human being. That's just the devil speaking. You should always consider your spouse in every situation, in every decision that you make. You should consider your spouse. I don't make any decisions, not major ones anyway. I make decisions without. I decide what food I'm going to eat without asking him. But my point is, if I'm going to make a major decision, or if I know something can affect my family, I'm going to talk to him. I had a boss one time who couldn't understand that I needed to talk to my husband before I made a major decision. And he was like, I understand you're your own human. I was like, you're right, I am, but I respect my husband. And I respect how he feels and what his opinions are. And maybe I want another opinion from him because maybe I'm not all the way sure. It doesn't matter. You should be talking to your spouse beforehand. And if somebody can't take no for an answer, they're not good for you.
Exactly. When pressure is coming from another person and the pressure meets the no that you've already said, that continue to pressure, then that no was definitely a right answer. Almost 99.9% of the time. And it's the needed answer. And no matter what, you can always make it the right answer and make it fit for you and your spouse. It's what y'all decide on and what she said before y'all's boundaries are. So when you met with pressure and you met with an outside party, no matter who it be, outside party period, meaning it can be anybody, boss, another coworker, family, mom, a dad, your brother, your sister, your cousins. No is no. And when you tell them no, stand on that no. Here's some other practical no's. You're supposed to say no to sexual immorality. That's Proverbs 7:16-27. And that's also 1 Corinthians 6-18, because you're also supposed to flee. Get away from there. Get out of there. Don't just say no to sexual immorality. Look, flee. Make it evident that no is also in your actions by you walking or running away or doing whatever. There's more no's in the Bible. There's no to bad company, no to gossip and spreading lies, no to overeating, no to dishonoring your parents, no to provoking your children to anger, no to laziness, and no to the devil, etc. However, there's many ways to say no, and no is not always a bad thing. No is also, once God, he uses to protect you. So be careful and honor those no's and stand by them. Just let them no's be known.
Absolutely. And my last thing that did you have something else?
Nope.
My last thing that I wanted to say is what you were taught when you were a child. Remember, no means no.
Bad. Right on. Alrighty, y'all have a blessed evening.
Yes, have a blessed day.
And y'all have a young
evening,
day.
like you said.
Or evening, or day, whatever you want. Some of y'all just started.
I start at 6:30 in the morning. I say have a blessed day all day. I'm sorry.
Bye,
All right, bye guys.